Super Saturday is here, folks, and kicking this one off in 2025. We've got Italy versus Ireland, and I've got Elko with me to chat it all through. Elko, how you doing?
TT, how you doing? Yeah, just about recovered from last week, and we go again with Super Saturday.
Absolutely. Let's talk about last week. Uh, Desperately disappointed for the
No.
Irish. Would have been hoping to go into this game, gone in for a Grand Slam, a third consecutive title. Emotionally, how hard is it going to be for them to get up for this fixture?
Yeah, I think it's tough. Like, not only is the Grand Slam gone, but the chances of any kind of championship is not in our hands anymore, which is really frustrating. But I guess they've just got to go out and put a performance in. What they don't want to be doing is sort of in one way it's kind of lucky. As long as we play well, that we have another game to get done and get a good feel in the camp, because otherwise we'd be waiting until much later in the year when we go to Chicago. So it's important, I think, for the players and the coaching staff, and also, with the British and Irish Lions coming up as well, that some boys put in a decent performance and kick on into their provincials and club games.
Yeah, absolutely. It does give them a chance to bounce back. For the Italians, they had a really sort of solid first couple of games, I'd say, but then they've kind of let loose in the last two games. Scored three tries against the French, scored three tries against the English, but conceded a heck of a lot as well. Where do you think they are coming into this one?
I think I think they'll be fairly confident. They're at home, and they should be confident. They know that they can attack. It's a wounded potentially animal in Ireland, and I think they should be very positive and go at us. I think it will be quite a good game. Um, Probably will have too much firepower, but you just don't know. Given everything that's happened, everybody's had a bit of a wobbler. So the Italians could do us. If Ireland aren't right on it, and as you sort of allude to, there's a hangover, then the Italians could really take advantage of that.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into selection because after selection across the tournament has been fairly consistent. Not so much for this game. We'll start with the Italy and the forwards, and they have made five changes, including dropping Captain Lamoureux to the bench as well. I suspected this might happen because he's just looked a little bit weary going into sort of the final stages of this tournament. To be honest, the amount of emotional energy he sort of expends in the anthems alone, it's not surprising. But yeah, five changes to this pack, Alco.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be across the board. A lot of teams have made some changes, and whether it was always sort of in the coaches' minds that they would bring guys in and give game time, rest some other guys. It's so attritional, and I know we've spoken sort of off air about sort of the next year and how that might look with getting rid of one of the fallow weeks. It's so attritional. You can see that with some of the big injuries last week, with Dupont and uh, uh, Ollie Lawrence for England, major, sort of season enders, to be fair. So whether it's sort of looking at that and maybe looking at the numbers in terms of GPS and data, or it is a case of, look, it's the last chance that the coaches can give these guys a run and have a look at them. And there's not a championship on the line in this game, so why wouldn't you have a look at some guys?
Yeah, so it's Fischetti, it's Rutzer and Negri who seem to be ever present. But then Lucchese comes in, Ferrari gets back to the tight edge shirt, which he's held for most of this tournament, to be fair. Dino Lamb comes into the second row, and Zuliani's the one that outs Lamoureux in the number seven jersey. And Lorenzo Canoni again returns, and he has spent most of this tournament in the back row for the Italians. It's a very aggressive, fast, very strong looking pack, and I think they've got the ability to do a decent amount of damage.
Yeah, absolutely right. And aggressive is the key. Right, you saw what France did to Ireland last week, and sort of there's a blueprint there for teams going forward. Is you've just got to be so aggressive at breakdown and at set play, and don't give Ireland that platform to launch plays. So I think he potentially has that in mind, freshen it up, and really go and attack an Irish four pack.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's look at the Italian backs. And interestingly, this is exactly the same back line they picked to start the championship. So it's gone full circle here with the backs. Ioane taking over the left wing spot, Capawazzo back to the right wing spot, and then Tommaso Allen in at fullback.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's attacking. It looks good. Always seems to have a nice balance, and with the coach they have now, who loves to play attacking stuff, and sometimes I don't know, sometimes they play a bit too much. I have been guilty of that recently, but you saw what they did against France. You know, they were able to cut them apart, and I think there's some sort of gain line winners here, and guys that can make breaks for sure, and that 12-13 axis has been good for them. So I expect them to challenge us, to go after us and go after our centre partnership as well.
Yeah, I suspect there might be some compromise in this Italian backline because I think Capozzo's he's a bigger attacking threat at fullback and he's defensively weaker on the wing as well. So I just think with all the other players around, they've made some compromises there to get what they think is the best overall players on the pitch. But I think
Mm.
there's definitely something Ireland can go after there.
Yeah, and particularly with Alan, like he's a very good kicking game, and maybe that's what they're looking at as well. Maybe we'll see in attack it might look slightly different. They might sort of swap the 14-15 around potentially there to certainly off the blind side maybe. But yeah, like Alan is an excellent kicking game, so maybe that's in their head as well.
Yeah. Okay, onto the bench. Nicotera, Spagnolo, Zilocchi, Canone, Lamero, Vincent, Varney, Marin, all pretty much as expected there, I would suggest. Although Marin comes into the squad, I think that's his first appearance in this Six Nations. So good for him to get in there.
Yeah, brilliant. Gets his opportunity at home and hopefully gets on. Is that 6-2? Yeah,
6-2. Yeah.
6-2 with Vincent. He's rapid, isn't he,
Yeah.
Vincent? So, yeah, again, there's a lot of experience on that bench in the four pack, and they've looked at what happened last week. I haven't gone fully 7-1, but 6-2 is still very aggressive, and will tell you how they're going to play. So, you know, unfortunately now Ireland has got this kind of tag where everybody is going to be coming after us up front and trying to beat us up because it worked, right? So we'll see whether they have the power and what Ireland have in the tank to equal that and come out on top.
Indeed. Let's look at Ireland. This is a team they've picked. And again, some really interesting selections. And you have to, I think when we're trying to predict all these selections, we obviously don't have all the information. So, what's going on inside the camp? Who's got the energy? Who's struggling with a bit of an injury? All these kind of things are huge factors. Let's go to the forward pack, and it's Porter, Sheehan, Beelum. As Brian comes back in for McCarthy and Conan takes over from Omani. So this looks like a fantastic pack of forwards, is what it looks like.
Yeah, I saw it earlier and I just thought, fair play. I can't really argue with it. Maybe this is the pack they possibly could have gone with last week. But certainly you look at the sort of swaps they've made, Ryan for McCarthy. Well, we spoke about it after the game last week. McCarthy messed up with his yellow card he got, which was just foolish at best. And he's been punished for it. Really, I think they've swapped him out. I think that's why that's happened. And then Conan has done enough, and we thought he had anyway over the last few weeks, a few rounds when he's come on to deserve a start. So I think that's fair, and I think he comes in. It's interesting he's playing six, and I'll be really looking forward to seeing how he plays at six with Doris at eight, and whether they swap around as well potentially. Because that's always, is it the right balance? And Conan's been pushing and knocking on the door for so long, but you can't drop our captain, right? So in terms of British and Irish lines as well, I think that's huge as well for him because I think he could be a bolter. Even though he's a test match eight, he could be a bolter to get in because no one's really fancied him. So I think it's a fair selection and it's an extremely strong selection and very aggressive as well. And I expect these guys to come out. There'll be a lot of frustration with the performance last week, but there'll be also, with Ryan and Conan there to prove and say, look, we should have been playing last week.
Yeah, and if you look at just in terms of freshness as well, I think it's only Byrne and Van der Fleer, excuse me, that have played every game so far. Everybody else has moved around a little bit at times, I think. So,
That's true.
yeah,
Mm.
so should be relatively fresh or fresh enough anyway.
Yeah.
Onto the backs, and this is the big talking point, I guess. Jack Crowley comes in, gets his chance at fly half ahead of Prendergast, but then also just look at those names, 11 to 15. And to have had those last week, eh?
Yeah, I know. You look, you go, ah, yeah. It's an interesting one. Bit of a surprise, I think, to see Lowe there. I think he has had this back spasm thing a few times before. So, I mean, I know that's like you kind of know how to manage it. You know when it's coming, you know when it's gone. You take your anti-flams and you rest, you sleep a certain way with your magic pillow, and then have a hot shower, and you're ready to go the next day. So thing. So, or he's had a few injections. So it's good to see he's back in. Obviously that's the back three we really needed to see, and we didn't have Mac back in as well. And Bundy. I don't know what would have happened last week if everyone had been fit. I think Bundy probably would have still started, but he does look extremely tired. And I watched the game again, and that knock he got in the face, I think, did cause some issues. He didn't look right. We spoke about it after the game. And look, obviously, the big thing is the 10 there, right? So presumably Simon Easterby just looked at Twitter after the game last week and saw the abuse that poor old Sam Prendergast got, which is just crazy. And then I don't know if you saw the news during the week about Leinster are now interested in crowding that ultimate trolling, if that's if that's not true. But we'll just go buy him a muffy and bring him to Leinster and sit him on the bench behind Sam Prendergast. I joke. Look, he deserves a go. I don't. I'm pretty sure this was in the plans all along. This last fixture against Italy, I think Crowley was always going to play. I might be wrong. As we spoke about last week, I don't think Sam did particularly anything wrong. Behind a pack that was getting battered, so I think it's awesome for Crowley. I'm really happy for him. He's got a point to prove to go out, and I hope he has a cracking game. And look forward to more Twitter bants on Saturday night.
Absolutely. Okay, onto the bench. Gus McCarthy covering hooker. Boyle loose head, so no final test for Healy this week. That's last week. He's done and dusted now. Go out with a try. Why not? Big news though. Ty Furlong back into the squad, fit at long last, just for the last game. And then the rest is kind of as is. Omani and Murray will be their final tests. Prendergast and Aki to cover the rest of the backs.
Yeah, it's funny that you think, did they pick Healy just because it was his last cap at home last week? Like, why? For the we've spoken about this before, and our some of our Italian counterparts have been quick to kind of tell us Italy have got a really good scrum, right? So, this is a massive test for Boyle. I like him. I like the shape of the kid. So it's a great test. Crack on. Amazing to see Tyke Furlong back. It's I'm really worried, I hope he got. I'm surprised actually they didn't start him, to be honest, just in case, because if God forbid something happens to Beelum in the first second, that means he's got to go 80 minutes, whereas you could probably manage his load a bit easier. But they must be fairly sure he's good to go. So that's fantastic. McCarthy will have a point to prove. Pom's last games, that'll be huge, and yeah, as you said, the same for Murray. What's interesting is how they're going to cover sort of back three and stuff. It's quite interesting with what they've got. So hopefully no injuries there, because they look a little bit light, and what's going to happen is the person who's going to have to move around is going to be Crowley, which could be really annoying for him. So if there's a knock sort of outside of 13, well, probably back he can cover one, but that will be interesting. So hopefully the lads can stay fit, go hard, and these guys can come on and make a sort of a big difference rather than coming on for an injury.
Absolutely. Okay. How do we see it going? I mean, I can see this being a really, really entertaining game. I think Italy have let the shackles off a little bit. I think they got their win against Wales, and I think they're going out to score tries, and they've done it in the last two games, but that has come at the expense of conceding a heck of a lot of points as well. I think they might go out and continue to try and play this weekend. How do you see them going?
Yeah, I agree. I think they'll come out and play. I think they'll go after us. I think they'll attack us. But I also think it will be same for Ireland, because it's the last game, as we spoke about, lots to prove. Get that monkey off the back from last week, but also my understanding is because of the way the fixtures fell and how arrogant Irish supporters are, there's a lot of people had booked their tickets to go to Rome. So I understand there's quite a big travelling contingent, and that could make for an incredible atmosphere. And what better way for the squad to thank the support, which has been pretty good, more than pretty good, been exceptional. To put on a show and play hard, get the platform right, and play some attacking rugby. And with Crowley there, I think we'll see that because, as you said, he's got a point to prove to get this back line really firing.
Yeah, just in terms of one-on-ones, I think if Ireland can get James Lowe one-on-one with Capewazzo, I think they're into some money there. They'll get some joy at that channel for sure. Any other areas where you think there could be a bit of a mismatch or an imbalance?
Um, not a mismatch, but I'm dying more the opposite to that, where there's sort of two partnerships. The center partnerships for me is going to be really exciting to watch who can get the upper hand, and that will go a long way to see who wins this game because they'll be they're both are quite combative in terms of defense and strong lines as we know at ring rows, but also they really attacking and can run great lines, and we'll be looking to get those mismatches on the wing as you just spoken about. So that for me, I'm really looking forward to seeing how that goes in the centre partnerships.
Yeah, and the last point for me, I think, is that Ireland are going to want to play these little shapes. They're going to want to take the ball close to the line. But the Italians, out of all these teams, I think, are the most sort of exocet missile type tacklers. So if they can get really close to the line and draw those defenders in, then they should find some joy in the outside channels, which most teams have against Italy so far this championship.
Yeah, it might be something that Prendergast plays a lot flatter to the line, I think, than Crowley, and we might see something different this weekend. But he'll be watching that as the game goes on, and expect it to break up in the last 20 minutes. I think in terms of still feel our conditioning is probably has an edge on Italy, and if it's sort of broken field and there's some tired guys on the pitch and Sam's on the pitch at that stage, last 15 minutes or something, we might see him unlocking and having a bit of fun out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, prediction times. Who's going to win? By how much? What do you reckon, Elko?
Ireland by 12. No, I said that last week. I think it will be fairly high scoring. I think we'll be sort of 40, 20, 22, something like that. I think we'll win but we'll stretch away, probably get at least 3 tries ahead of these guys. Is my gut feel.
Yeah, okay. I think, and I've been willing it to happen now for weeks. I think Italy will get the bonus point try this week. I think they've got so close the last two games. I think they're gonna get it. They're gonna get a little bit of fortune in attack because I don't think at times it's gone the other way for them. So they're going to get 4 tries. So that's 29 because they're going to kick a penalty as well. And I think Ireland might actually rack up a ton here. Not a ton as in 100, but a lot.
Jesus.
56. 56-29. That's what I'm going to go for.
Nice. Well, it'll be high scoring, please God, and presumably the weather will be nice over there, and it'll be a good track. So hopefully.
Absolutely. Okay, folks at home, that's what we think. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments down below, and we will join you there for a lovely, friendly conversation. Give this video a thumbs up if you don't mind while you're down. That helps other people find it. Elko, thank you very much again for your time today. Really appreciated.
Pleasure, TT. Enjoy the game. See you soon.
And you, people at home, subscribe there. Watch that one next. Don't forget to get out and play.